My friends, I'm happy to report Ibanez finally did it. They built the ultimate modern electric guitar. In my personal opinion, this is the absolute best thing you can get out there at the moment, because it's especially aimed at guitar players who want the most out of their instrument when it comes to technique, speed, control and accuracy, because it finally fixes some annoying mistakes and design flaws that make other guitars not exactly the best fit if you're chasing clean and super fast picking or effortless and really controlled fretting hand technique. So not only does it sound and look great, this guitar will also make your life much easier, because it literally makes you play better. And why is that? It's because I had a hand in designing it. So over the last 2 years, I got to design a guitar together with Ibanez. They wanted my exact feedback from almost 20 years of playing guitar and chasing flawless technique myself, to build an instrument that's especially aimed at people who are chasing better technique and who kind of feel held back or restricted by the instruments that they're playing. So let's unbox it together. I only saw prototypes so far, so I've not seen the finished guitar yet. I'm very excited. Oh yeah. That looks absolutely beautiful. It looks even better in real life compared to those digital mock-ups. What an absolute beauty! So before we dive into the most important design choices and why this guitar is superior to any other that I've played so far, let's take 1 second and admire it real quick. So we have a black flat finish right here, just like the AC model I've been playing over the last around 7 years. So you don't see all the fingerprints, which makes pure gloss black finishes very annoying. It only looks clean when you take it out of the box, and then it immediately looks dirty. But let's dive into the most important features and the sound right away. So it honestly feels insane. This guitar is so effortless to play. And it doesn't matter how fast, complicated or distorted it gets, every single note is crystal clear. Because of the pickups we made especially for the instrument, but right away the most important thing, the big game changer, I could finally convince Ibanez to move the volume and tone knobs out of the way, because literally with every single other Ibanez guitar or other guitars from any brands really that are aimed at technical virtuosic playing, the tone or volume knobs are positioned right below the pickups right here. So when I switched to the other main guitar that I was playing previously, the AC that you probably know from this channel. So whenever I was playing on the higher strings, my fingers were always bumping into this knob, kind of changing the settings, and it always felt in the way. That doesn't really matter if you're just playing riffs or chords here and there, so that's why it's not an issue for the majority of players. But if you're like me and you want the most out of your instrument and you don't want anything to be in the way when you're playing a very complicated solo or sweep picking section, this has always been a major design flaw when it comes to pretty much all guitars in this super strat shape. Now that I switched back, I think you can see the difference immediately. So even when I'm playing on the highest strings right here, there's absolutely nothing restricting me. So it doesn't matter if you're an open-handed or a closed-handed player. There's finally nothing in the way right here, and this simple design change already cleaned up my personal playing, even after all these years, because I don't have to adjust my hand in a way that feels awkward just to kind of avoid the knob right here. I can focus on keeping it in a natural way to just work on those string transitions and to not always kind of escape the knob right here. So if this already improved my playing after all these years, I can't wait to hear and see what it does for you. It might really be this major design flaw with most common electric guitars that's holding you back at the moment from shredding like this on the higher strings. And when it comes to the neck, there's also a major design flaw with a lot of guitars that are aimed at technical playing. Because a lot of necks on guitars that are aimed at virtuosic players are extremely thin, because there's this common myth of the thinner the neck, the faster you can play, when in reality super thin necks make your fretting hand cramp up because you kind of have nothing to hold on to. It increases the pressure that's used by both your thumb and your front fingers, so to say, that are actually playing the notes. But of course you also don't want the neck that's too thick, because that will feel super awkward with your fingers trying to grab onto something like this. So while Les Paul or something is cool for certain sounds. It's very hard to get a proper range of motion with your fingers out of it because the neck is kind of too thick. So with this oval C roasted maple neck, we found the absolute perfect neck radius when it comes to maintaining super strong articulated legato notes. So if you feel like your fingers are sometimes flying away from the neck, you have that flying pinky finger and you're not fully in control of them, you can't make them stay super close to the fretboard. It might not be your fault, you might just using a neck that's way too thin or way too thick. After testing hundreds and hundreds of necks over the last years, this is the absolutely perfect one for finger independence, control and stability. And when it comes to the pickups, the reason why I wanted a brand new custom pickup for this guitar that's not available anywhere else is because I was always switching guitars whenever I was recording music for session jobs, for Netflix, for rock, metal, pop bands. For some of those nice gold and platinum records you can see behind there with this pop band I was working for, because I always needed different guitars for different sounds. So I had a guitar with active like EMG pickups or something that had kind of a cool sound for metal, but it could only do metal stuff. So whenever I wanted to dive more into modern, clean math rock, fusion style stuff, I had to switch to a different guitar. And whenever I wanted to recreate that live, I ran into some problems because I can't bring 10 guitars to every single show. So with these pickups, I wanted more possibilities when it comes to tone. So I don't only have this cool 5-way switch to switch in between the pickups. With distorted playing, the highlights are a super warm, nice sounding lead tone with the neck pickup right here, a more sharp sounding, really cool shred tone on the bridge pickup, which is what I would also use for riffs. And as you can hear, even with faster kind of metal stuff, you can hear every single picking stroke in there. It doesn't become a dirty, confusing mess of notes, even if you dial in more distortion. Every single picking stroke is clearly audible, which makes your playing sound cleaner right away without any adjustments on your end. But aside from just the 5-way selector switch, you also get this voicing switch right here. So by just lifting or pushing down this knob right here, you get even more possibilities with your sound. Listen to the difference. It's pushed down right now. I'm in the 1, 2, 3, 4th position. So when I play something like this, I want a more kind of spanky sound that you can usually only get out of single coils, like out of a classic Strat or something. But when I pull right here and I go into the different voicing for this position, I immediately get that really cool, crystal clear, modern single coil kind of sound. It used to be impossible for me to get this sound out of a guitar with humbuckers. So I always needed to switch to a single coil guitar when I had to record stuff like this. And in the studio, this kind of sound is extremely popular. So producers always want you to use it. So instead of switching back and forth between all these different guitars with single coils, humbuckers, active pickups, passive pickups, I can get all the sounds that I want out of this guitar. And switching to a more modern, clean tone that has a little bit of spice, so kind of a crunchy tone. That is one of my favorite sounds ever. Pickup switch in the 4th position, and then I pulled out the voicing switch. So you can hear that character even better with a clean tone. Absolutely beautiful tone. So you get that nice kind of sparkly tone like this that I really love. And when I switch to the neck pickup and push back in, beautiful sound as well. It's especially for leads with a clean or slightly crunchy tone. So I love that you don't just have this 5-way switch, you can also experiment with the different voicings and you get kind of limitless sounds out of this guitar even before you go into an amp or a plugin. And I can finally just use this one instrument instead of always cycling through different guitars for different sounds. Some other cool features is that you have locking tuners right here, which makes changing strings much easier, and they also stay in tune perfectly. And as opposed to other locking mechanisms, you don't need a pick or a coin to open the tuners at all. You just need to turn these screws a little bit with your hand. You don't need any external tools, and the string will just snap in place like this and you can cut it. You of course also get a whammy bar right here. This is not a Floyd Rose, so you don't have those annoying locking mechanisms up there and the locking tuners right here. Changing strings is not a nightmare with this guitar, but you still get all the benefits from having a whammy bar on the instrument, and it stays perfectly in tune. Even if you go for some dive bombs, still sounds perfect. You also don't have to screw open the back in order to replace the battery for the Fishman pickups. You just do this right here and the battery is right there. And of course, as my official stamp of approval, you get my logo back there, which is kind of cool. I didn't want to put it like front and center on the guitar or anything. It's right here, and as you can see, it says BER10. That's the name of this amazing guitar. So my friends, to wrap it up, I made this instrument with all of you in mind because I want you to have something that actually makes playing guitar easier and not harder, especially if you're chasing perfect, flawless technique. This is the best instrument you can go for. The first production run of those is very, very limited. Once they sell out, they're gone. I don't want to favor a specific dealer or store like Sweetwater or Thomann in Europe. Just ask your favorite dealer about it or just go to their store. See if they have a BER10 guitar in stock, Ibanez BER10. And don't wait on this because I think they will sell out and I don't know when or if there's a second run of those. Thanks so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you absolutely killing it with this awesome guitar in your hands that I made especially for our community. See you soon. Thanks for watching and thanks for picking up one of those. Bye bye.